It's a time of rejoicing. Oh, I'm feeling really merry now. My heart keeps pounding in and out. Thinking about Yah's promises. He is not a man that he should lie. Every word he's spoken is a yes, and so be it. So I'm clapping with my hands this time, and I'm lifting up my voice real high, 'cause I know all of his promises are true. Every word he's spoken to me and you. And when the road seems dreary and I can't see the end, I put my trust in his promises. I put my trust in his word. He'll take care of all my needs, and I ain't worried 'cause he's on his seat. And I begin to sing songs to my King. All the honor is yours. All of the praise is yours. All of my heart, all of my mind, all of me. It's the you I see. I'm rejoicing. So I'm clapping with my hands this time, and I'm lifting up my voice real high, 'cause I know all of his promises are true. Every word he's spoken to me and you. Come and sing with me. Songs to Elohim. He is worthy of all the praise. He is worthy of all the honor. He is worthy of all the praise. I'm gonna give him all the honor. All the honor is worthy. All the honor is worthy.
All praises to the Most High Yah for his goodness and his great love towards us. I am so excited to share with everyone this part of the gospel. And it's because it's something that everybody's always talking about in the church when we were in Christianity. And even when we've come into this awakening, it's still something that is greatly misunderstood. So I am beyond excited and beyond, I don't know, I don't even have words to describe what it is that I'm feeling when it comes to this part, talking about the patriarch. You know, when we say the Alua of Abraham, of Isaac, and Jacob, we just say it sometimes, but we don't really know what it means, the fullness of it, the depth of it, and why it is such a privilege to be able to call on the Alua of these men whom we call our forefathers. And for those who have been grafted in, why it is an honor to be called their seed. So, welcome to part 4 of the full gospel. Let us go before the Most High in humility and ask him to prepare our hearts to receive and our minds to be able to understand. Abba Yah, we come before your presence and we give you thanks for everything that you have done for us. Thank you, Father, for your kindness. Thank you for your great love. Thank you, Abba, that you have kept your promises to us because of your servant, Abraham. Because of him, and his righteousness, we're able to be inheritors by default. Even though we've walked our own way, we've lived our lives our own way, we've done whatever it was that we desired to do our own way, but you put in us the desire to do righteousness. You put in the call and you put in the response. If ever we chose to serve you, it's because you called us first. If ever we responded, it's because you gave us the answer, because you work all things in us. And you have granted us favor to be able to say yes to you. So we ask, Abaya, that you will continue to work in our lives and that you will fill us with the reverence of you. May your name be lifted high in our lives. In the name and the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it, and be it so. So we're finally at part 4. I'm trying my very best to not rush through it. And I'm trying my very best to not stay on one verse, but to literally break down every single part that Abaya allows me to break down, because it is extremely important. Yesterday we left off on what John 3:16 really meant, looking at our father Abraham and his son Isaac, what that really meant, and why it says, for Yah so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever should believe in him should have life everlasting. But the true interpretation, not according to the pen of the scribes, for the Most High Yah tells us in the book of Jeremiah, beware of the pen of the scribe. It is because of the pen of the scribes that we are so easily deceived. And because our hearts desire to see what the pen of the scribes say, we do not allow the Ruach of Yah to bring us true interpretation. But hear this day what John 3:16 is. For Yah so loved the works of his hands, which he had made, he and his son in his likeness, which he saw was good when the light created it, that he sent the son that he loved, who had been brought forth from his very own bosom, that whosoever placed trust and committed to do all that the light had said to do, lived the way the light said to live, as he did, then he shall not be destroyed by the wrath and judgment of Yah, but receive and be complete inheritors of the promise of Yah, which was established from the moment he breathed in man and made him an incorruptible soul and a living being. John 3:16. And we see the faithfulness of Abraham. And we see the obedience of Isaac, a grown 37-year-old man. And at any point, he could have deviated and said, Father, I don't want to do this. And when we look at our Messiah, we see that our Messiah could have said, Father, I don't want to do this. Why should I lay down my life when I have committed no sin against you? But a greater Isaac was he, a greater son was he, that he obeyed his father to death, and that he crushed and will crush the head of the seed of the serpent. Now, after Abraham and Isaac both proved their trustworthiness to Yah, Sarah died. Sarah was 127 years old when she died. 127 years old when she died. We see this in Genesis chapter 23, verse 1. And Sarah lived 127 years, the years of the life of Sarah. And she died in Hebron and was buried in the cave of Machpelah. We see in Jubilees chapter 19, Jubilees chapter 19, verse 2, starting at verse 2. We see it says, and in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, the days of the life of Sarah were accomplished, and she died in Hebron. And Abraham went to mourn over her and bury her. And we tried him if his spirit was patient, but he was not bitter in the words of his mouth. And he was found patient in this and was not disturbed. For in patience of spirit he spoke with the children of Heth, to the intent that they should give him a place in which to bury his dead. And Yah gave him favor before all who saw him, and he pleaded with the sons of Heth. And they gave him the land of the cave of Machpelah, opposite Mamre, that is Hebron, for 400 pieces of silver. And they pleaded with him, saying, we shall give it to you for nothing, for free. But he would not take it from their hands for free. For he gave the price of the place and the silver in full. And he bowed down before them twice. And after this he buried his dead in the cave of Machpelah. And all the days of the life of Sarah were 127 years. That is 2 jubilees and 4 weeks and 1 year. These are the days of the years of the life of Sarah. This is the 10th trial with which Abraham was tried. And he was found trustworthy, patient in spirit. And look what verse 9 says. And he did not speak not a single word regarding the report in the land, how Eluah had said that he would give it to him and his seed after him. And he pleaded a place there to buy his dead, for he was found trustworthy, and was recorded on the tablets of the Shamaim of the heavens as the friend of Eluah. This was the 10th test. And when Sarah had died, he could have gone anywhere else, even though he's seen the sons of Canaan living in the land. The Canaanites were there, the sons of Heth. And he said, the Most High Yah said he was going to give me this land. So this is where I will bury my dead. This is where I will bury them. And so he did. And the Shamayim rejoiced at the faithfulness and the obedience and the trustworthiness that he trusted Yah even when he could not see. He trusted Yah even when he could not fully understand. And this is counted unto us as righteousness. Baruch are those who believe without seeing. Abraham walked in that. In the very words of our Messiah, Abraham walked in that. And so he was called a friend of Yah. And after Sarah's death and burial, Isaac mourned his mother's death greatly. So his father Abraham sent his servant back to his land from whence he came to look for a wife for his son amongst his people. And we can see this in Genesis chapter 24, starting at verse 1. And it reads, and Abraham was old, advanced in years, and Yahuwah had baraked Abraham in every way. And Abraham said to the oldest servant of his house, who ruled over all that he had, please put your hand under my thigh, so that I make you swear by Yahuwah, the Eluah of the Shamayim and the Eluah of the earth, that you do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but go to my land and to my relatives and take a wife for my son Isaac. And the servant said to him, but what if the woman refuses to follow me to this land? Do I then take your son back to the land from which you came? And Abraham said to him, beware lest you take my son back there. Yahuwah Eluah of the Shamayim, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my relatives, and who spoke to me and swore to me, saying, to your seed I give this land. He sends his messengers before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. Even for Isaac, Abraham was not willing to compromise. His servant said, but Abraham, what if I cannot find a wife for your son? Should I take Isaac and bring him back to Haran? And Abraham is like, don't you even think about it. Because Yah brought me out of that land. Why would I send my son back there? He told me he was going to give me this land. And this is where my son will live. This is where his seed will be brought forth. And this is where he will die. And if the woman refuses to follow you, then you shall be released from the oath. Only do not take my son back there. Then the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 of his master's camels and left, for all his master's goods were in his hand. And he arose and went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. And he made his camels kneel down outside the city by a fountain of water at evening time, the time when women go out to draw water. And he said, Yahuwah Eluah of my master Abraham, please meet before me this day and show kindness to my master Abraham. See, I am standing here by the fountain of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Now let it be that the young woman to whom I say, please let down your jar to let me drink, and she says, drink, and let me water your camels too. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. And let me know by this that you have shown kindness to my master. And if you continue down all the way to verse 67, Yah hears this petition and he faithfully answers it. And so what happens is, and the young woman was very good looking, a maiden, no man had known her. And she went down to the fountain, filled her jar, and came up, and the servant ran to meet her and said, please let me drink a little water for your jar. And she said, drink, my master. And she hurried and let her jar down to her hand and gave him a drink. And when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, let me draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking. And she hurried and emptied her jar into the trough right back to the fountain to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And watching her, the man remained silent in order to know whether Yahuwah had prospered his way or not. And it came to be when the camels had finished drinking that the man took a golden nose ring weighing half a shekel, and 2 bracelets for her wrists weighing 10 shekels of gold, and said, whose daughter are you? Please inform me. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? And she said, I am the daughter of Bethuel, Milcah's son, whom she bore to Nahor. And she said to him, we have both straw and fodder enough and room to spend the night. And the man bowed his head and worshipped Yahuwah. And this was not an Israelite, by the way. This was a man that Abraham had purchased with his silver and or gold. And he had been circumcised. And he knew that the Eluah of Abraham was true. And when the Eluah of Abraham heard his petition and answered him according to his faith and desire to obey Yah, he bowed down and worshiped him. Did not the Most High Yah say to Abraham that he would be the father of many nations? And because of him and his seed, the whole world would be Baruch? And Isaac brought her into his mother's tent, and he took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And so Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Now let's go to Jubilees chapter 19, verse 14 through 31. Jubilees chapter 19, verse 14 through 31. And it reads, and the youth grew and Jacob learned to write. Oh, well, no. Actually, I'm sorry. I moved too fast. But that's for a later time. So Isaac marries Rebekah, and he loves her greatly. And so Abraham now gives a barakah. He gives a blessing to Isaac. According to Genesis chapter 25. He gives a blessing to Isaac. He says that he gives him everything that he has. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac. And as I was reading this, I'm thinking, well, what all did Abraham give to Isaac? I know it couldn't just be merely earthly possessions. I know it couldn't just be silver and gold. He didn't have the land yet, so what all did he give to Isaac? But then when you look at Jubilees chapter 21, verse 1 through 25, you see what all Abraham gave to Isaac. The inheritance of Yah. The inheritance of Yah. Jubilees chapter 21, verse 1 through 25. And in the 6th year of the 7th week of this Jovel, or this Jubilee, Abraham called Isaac his son and commanded him, saying, I have become old and do not know the day of my death, and am full of days. And see, I am 175 years old. And throughout all the days of my life, I have remembered Yah, and sought with all my heart to do his desire, and to walk uprightly in all his ways. My being has hated idols, that I might observe to do the desire of him who created me. For he is the living Alua, and he is Kodesh and trustworthy. And he is righteous beyond all, and with him there is no partiality, nor accepting of bribes. For Alua is righteous and executes right ruling on all those who transgress his commands and despises his covenant. Remember, Moses was not born in this time. There was no 10 commandments given. All the commands of the Most High were written on his heart, on the heart of Abraham. He was led by the Ruach of Yah into all righteousness. So for those of us who love to say, well, the 10 commandments or the law of Yah was for only Israelites, Abraham was not an Israelite. The Israelites were after Jacob was born. It starts with Jacob, not with Abraham. So the command of righteousness was required for all of mankind. But all of mankind rebelled against Yah except for one in his generation. And his name was Abraham. And Abraham taught his son Isaac and left him the inheritance of Yah, saying, be rich in Yah, Hold on to him. He is your jewel. He is your prized possession. Do all that he says, all that he requires of you. And you, my son, shall observe his commands and his laws and his right rulings, and do not walk after the abominations and after the carved images and after the molded images. And eat no blood at all of beast or cattle or of any bird which flies in the Shamayam. And if you slaughter whatever is an acceptable peace offering, you slay it and pour out its blood upon the altar. There were no Levites. And all the fat of the offering, offer on the altar with fine flour mixed with oil and its drink offering. Offer them all together on the altar of burnt offering. It is a sweet fragrance before Yah. And you shall offer the fat of the slaughtering of thanksgiving on the fire which is upon the altar, and the fat that covers the entrails of the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage of the liver you shall remove together with the kidney. But so do you see what Abraham is doing? He is giving laws to his son. He is telling his son what to do. This is what he left for his son. Instruction. Look what he says. And eat its meat on that day and on the second day, and do not let the sun on the second day go down till it is eaten. And let none be over for the third day, for it is not acceptable, and let it no longer be eaten. And all who eat of it shall bring sin upon themselves, for thus I have found it written in the books of my forefathers, and the words of Enoch, and the words of Noah. Did Yah not say in Genesis that he took Enoch because Enoch walked with Yah? The Most High is not silent on these matters. In every generation, he chooses a righteous seed. And he leaves statutes and commands and right rulings by which they should live, that no man should be ignorant of walking uprightly with him. And this is what Abraham left for Isaac. Abraham teaches Isaac proper worship, proper sacrifices, purity, avoiding idolatry. He tells him to stay away from evildoers. Take no bribe or gift for the blood of man. Blood for blood, that you may be accepted before Yah. Don't accept blood money, gang money. Defend what is good, that you may be protected from all evil. And we say that the laws of Yah are so bad, they're so hard, we can't do it. Yahuwah knew that we couldn't live holy. He gave people a whole bunch of laws, but he knew we couldn't live holy. So he sent us Hamashiach so that we can live however way we want, because he knows that there's no way for us to live holy. What are we talking about here? When Abraham is called a friend of Yah and Isaac is called the son of the promise, it doesn't even make sense when you say it out loud. Beware lest you fall in the ways of the wicked and walk in their evil ways, because sin will be added unto you before the Most High, and he will give you back into the hands of your transgression and root you out of the land, and your seed likewise from under the Shamayam, and your name shall be blotted out of the earth. And Abraham heard all of these things. And he shall baruch you in all your deeds, and shall raise up from you the branch of righteousness. Who is this branch of righteousness? That's Hamashiach. So Abraham says to Isaac, walk in all that I tell you to do, Isaac, so that the seed may come from you, because it is from you that the seed will come. You are the chosen son. And from you, you will have another chosen son. And from your son's son, there will be another chosen son until the ultimate chosen son comes to save not only Yasharal, but the entire of humanity. Because when Yah created man in his image, he did not create Yasharal. He created man. And because man sinned, Yah chose one son. He chose Enoch. He chose Methuselah. He chose Noah. He chose Shem. He chose Eber. He chose Abraham. He chose Isaac. He chose Jacob. He chose Judah. He chose David. He chose Hamashiach. He sent Hamashiach. So it is important why we need to know the history of our forefathers. He didn't just willy-nilly pick somebody. Jubilees chapter 21, verse 6, Abraham explicitly tells Isaac to observe the commands of Yah and not walk after idols, to keep the covenant and to walk in obedience. In Jubilees chapter 22, verse 10, he says, he then calls Jacob and says, my son Jacob, may the Eloah barak you and strengthen you to do righteousness, and his desire before him. May he choose you and your seed that you become a people for his inheritance according to his desire always. And you, my son, draw near and kiss me. We see still that Yah, the same command that Abraham is given to Isaac, he's still around when Jacob is born. I jumped a little bit only so you can see that Abraham is passing on the inheritance of righteousness to his chosen seed. First to his chosen son, then to his chosen grandson. He says, may the Most High Yah give you all the blessings wherewith he has blessed me. And then he says, keep yourself from all fornication and uncleanliness and love one another. Abraham urges obedience to Yah and separation from pagan practices. This is still the light being separated from the darkness. They're following in the light of Yah. So then Abraham takes on a new wife after his days of mourning had ended. Jubilees chapter 19 verse 11 tells us that Abraham married Keturah. And Keturah was not a Canaanite, as many people would like to say. Keturah was from amongst the daughters of his household servants. And she bore him 6 sons according to Genesis chapter 25, verse 1 through 2. The first being Zimran, the second being Jokshan, the third being Medan, the fourth being Midian, the fifth being Isbak, and the sixth being Shua. And if you didn't know, Midian is the forefather of the Midianites, from which Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, comes from. Jethro being the priest of Midian. And this is where we must remember that none of us can boast about being a descendant of Abraham. None of us can boast about that because we are not his only seed. This is where we must remember that many can boast in being the seed of Abraham, not just Yasharal. The reason why I really want to drive this down is because there's a spirit of lawlessness that is rousing up again in us, where we're becoming too arrogant and we're counting ourselves of being worthy. when we have walked in rebellion and contrary to the example that Abraham left for us. And so we're not boasting in the righteousness of Abraham, but we're boasting in being his seed. And that's a stumbling block for us, because we think that no matter what we do, because we are a seed of Abraham, that we will be able to get whatever we want, that we'll be able to go wherever we want, that we'll be able to receive any blessing that we desire. Anything that the Most High has in store for the righteous, we get to get it just because we are descendants of Abraham. And we have to get this out of our minds because it makes us lazy. It causes us to walk in laziness, freeloading on something that we never merited. Just because it's our father's name. It's like being a whole drug addict. Your dad worked hard and he built himself an empire, and you're a drug addict and you're just like, yeah, Dad, just because I'm your son, I know that I can inherit whatever it is that you got because I'm your son, Dad. I'm the only one. I'm the one who you gave birth to. I came from your seed, Dad. So your empire belongs to me because I belong to you. But it doesn't work that way. The drunken son, the lawless son, does not get to inherit the promises of righteousness. It causes us to be lazy and not work out our salvation with fear and trembling. So this part, I just have to pause to reiterate. If you're boasting about being a seed of Abraham, know that you're not the only one. Abraham had other sons. And Yah told Abraham to circumcise all his sons that were born in his house. Every son that was born of his seed, and everyone that he had purchased with his silver and his gold. Remember that. Ishmael was circumcised. Isaac was circumcised. Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, Shua, they were circumcised. They were all to be circumcised throughout all their generations, and every male servant in his house. Remember Genesis chapter 17, verse 10 through 14. Genesis chapter 17, verse 10 through 14. This is my covenant which you guard between me and you, and your seed after you. Every male child among you is to be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. And a son of 8 days is circumcised by you. Every male child in your generations, he who is born in your house, or bought with your silver from any foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house, and he who is bought with your silver, has to be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. Listen to the word. Don't be offended by the word. Because if you are, the problem is bigger than you. You have some real low self-esteem, selfish issues. Yah made a promise to Abraham that he would make him a father of many nations. The moment we realize this, and that we are the chosen son, we will live out this righteousness in such a way that because of the fear we have of Yah, we will allow and permit Abraham's righteousness to be added unto us, because we have been a light to these nations. And because of that, Abraham's name can be renowned because we are his actual physical seeds, and we're able to be a light to the seeds of adoption. You will work out your salvation with great fear and trembling because you fully understand the reason for your existence was not so that you can boast and say that I am a seed of Abraham, but rather so that you can be a light in this world, set apart unto Yah, and to demonstrate the righteousness of his great name. Jubilees chapter 15, verse 11 through 14. And Yahuwah said to Abraham, and as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your seed after you, and circumcise every male among you, and circumcise your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of everlasting covenant between me and you. And the child on the 8th day you shall circumcise. Every male throughout your generations, he that is born in the house, or whom you have brought with silver, from any stranger whom you have acquired, who is not of your seed. He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those whom you have bought with silver shall be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting law. And the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of the foreskin on the 8th day, that being shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my covenant. I don't know if you've ever wondered or asked Yah, why is the 8th day so important? Why does it have to be on the 8th day? The reason why Abba Yah is so specific about the 8th day, remember, everything that Abba Yah does is with great intention. The 8th day represents the great 8th day. Because remember, we are, like, it's so amazing when you spend time with Yah and he reveals deeper matters to you. He doesn't just do things for no reason. Everything is to represent something that is beyond our understanding. It is beyond what the human mind can fully comprehend. Remember that we are on this earth walking our lives, living our lives for 6 days. That's 6,000 years. In the 6,000th year unto the 7,000th year, which is the 7th day, we get to rest in Hamashiach. That is the 1,000-year reign. And then on the 8th day, that is the day that we stand before Yah, before the great white throne of Yah, and he examines us, and he sees if we walked out our salvation with fear and trembling, and everyone gets his reward for how he has lived. The circumcision of the flesh on the 8th day is the circumcision of the heart for the 8th day of judgment that is to come, when all of mankind stands before the great white throne. So it's not something just because it's a covenant forever, but because it represents the reward that comes after. The covenant remains as long as we do what Yah has said. The circumcision of the heart will allow us to be able to be inheritors of the covenant promise that Yah has for us on the day that we stand before the great white throne and the books are open and we are able to enter into the new Jerusalem that he prepared. That's what this is about. This is what the great 8th day is about. And this is what the circumcision's about. We're over here focused on the surface level understanding. We don't fully understand that Yah does these things on purpose. You know, even him choosing to rest on the 7th day. Why is he doing that? Because it's a foreshadow of the 7th day that is to come, that we are all waiting for, to spend 1,000 years with Yah. That is with Hamashiach and Yah. That's the 7th day. 6 days you labor. For 6,000 years man travails the earth. And they seek Yah, or they rebel against him. On the 7th day, Hamashiach, or before the 7th day, HaMashiach comes, and with the rod he examines all of us, not just Yasharal, but the Gentiles who have cleaved to us. And will they be able to enter into his rest? And then when we enter into the rest, after the 1,000-year reign, the 8th day comes, and all of mankind stands. Have they circumcised the foreskins of their hearts? Because if they have, they will not be cut off from the promises of Yah and his people. But if they have not, they will be cut off forever. This is what the circumcision is about. This is why Yah's so specific about the 8th day, because there is an 8th day that's coming. We're waiting for the 1,000-year reign. That's the 7th day. And then after the 7th year, we're waiting for the 8th day. And the 8th day is the day of the great white throne of Yah. It's a beautiful thing. So when you keep the Shabbat, it represents our 6 days of labor. And if you have walked faithfully with Yah, just as you have prepared for the Shabbat, on the 7th day, you get to rest. You don't have to worry about cooking. You don't have to worry about getting your life right. You don't have to worry about cleaning. You did that during the week. You get to rest now. It's a training for us. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. So when Abraham died, no. So let me read that. So this law and covenant had to be kept for everyone that was born of Abraham's seed and of his household. And when Abraham died, Isaac became the superintendent of this covenant. And then when Isaac died, Jacob became the superintendent of this covenant. Yah was choosing his seed to be the enforcers of this promise, to be a light in this world. Rebecca became pregnant with twins, and the pregnancy was very hard and difficult. And she asks Yah, what's happening in my womb? What's going on? Why do I feel this war going on in my belly? And Genesis chapter 25, verse 22 to 23 tells us, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people shall be separated from your body. And 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. And when the days were filled for her to give birth, see, twins were in her womb. Twins were in her womb. Yah answers Rebecca and says to her that 2 nations are in her womb. 2 people would be separated from her. 1 people would be stronger over the other, and the other would serve the younger. This is what Yah said. This is his response. And this was a prophecy of Esau and Jacob. It was a foreshadow of the rivalry between the brothers and the future relationship between the nations. Esau being Edom and Yasharal being Jacob. If we continue in Genesis chapter 5, verse 24 through 26, we see, and when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb. And the first came out reddish all over like a hairy garment, so they called his name Esau. And afterward his brother came out, and with his hand holding on to Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. The first son was born red and covered with hair. The second was born holding his brother's heel. Now this part, I love. We've been taught our whole life that Jacob meant heel grabber. We've been taught our whole lives that Jacob meant supplanter. We've been taught our whole lives that Jacob meant deceiver. It meant trickster. It meant cunning man. But today, if Abba Yah has not already revealed it to you, we will fully understand what it was that was taking place when Jacob grabbed Esau's heel. Here is the truth. The heel is represented as the Tau, meaning mark, sign, trace, absolute. The end. And Jacob grabbing Esau's heel was a sign of what was to take place in the end. Jacob being represented as the Tau. He wasn't a heel grabber. He wasn't a supplanter. The baby was doing a sign of a prophecy that was going to take place. I get so tired of these theologians sometimes always making stuff up. Jacob holding on to Esau's heel was a prophecy being given. 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 9 through 10. 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 9 through 10. Let's start at verse 8. And he said to me, from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born to him, Jacob's hand first held the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows. And the hand of man is between the heel and the hand. Other questions, Ezra, do not ask. And he said to me, from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born to him, Jacob's hand first held the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows. The hand of man is between the heel and the hand. Jacob's been associated to being a trickster. He's a supplanter, deceiver. Likes to do sabotage. He's cunning. And that's the reason why we don't walk with righteous identity, because we don't understand our forefathers. Esau was born first. and Jacob followed after. Jacob never stole Esau's birthright. That's not what took place in the womb. He wasn't showing a sign of being a thief from the time he was coming out of his mother's canal. We must understand that Esau ruled this world first, still is ruling it, and terribly mismanaged. Esau lived out his birthright. Jacob inherited the promise. Jacob never stole Esau's birthright. Esau ruled this world and rules this world presently. He's in his birthright right now, but he is mismanaging it. Esau lives out his birthright. Jacob inherits the promise. Esau is the end of the world of perversion and lawlessness. And Jacob is the beginning of that which follows. When HaMashiach comes, the birthright of Jacob as the chosen son will be established. Esau's reign ends at his heel. Esau reigns. Esau's living out his birthright. But Jacob's reign begins with the outstretched arm. Who is the outstretched arm? HaMashiach. That is the reason why his hand is on the heel. His head is in the middle. The stubbornness, the stiff-neckedness of the people of Yasharal keeps him stuck in the middle. But then the end is the outstretched arm. For the head is in between the hand of the heel and the hand that is outstretched. Who is the one that begins the reign of Yasharal? Is it not HaMashiach? This is the millennial reign we're waiting for, people. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows. Esau's reign ends at his heel. And Jacob's reign begins with the outstretched arm. And so, when HaMashiach said in Matthew chapter 20, verse 16, the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Hallelujah. If I had a church aisle or something, I'd be running back and forth. That's the only time I'd be running back and forth, because the truth is good. It is good to know the truth and live by it. It is good to know the truth and live by it. Hallelujah. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Genesis chapter 25, verse 28. Jubilees chapter 19, though, explains to us in greater detail why it was that Rebekah loved Jacob so much. Isaac loved Esau because he said Esau was a man. He said, yeah, that's a man. He knew how to hunt. He was a rustic man. But Rebekah loved Jacob, and so did Abraham. Remember that when Jacob was born, Abraham was still alive. They still had a length of days added to them in those days. And I will explain to you why he was so loved. Jubilees chapter 19, verse 14 through 20. And the youth grew, and Jacob learned to write. But Esau did not learn, for he was a man of the field and a hunter, and he learned battle, and all his deeds were mighty. And Abraham loved Jacob, but Isaac loved Esau. And Abraham saw the deeds of Esau, and he knew that in Jacob his name and seed should be called. And he called Rebekah and gave command regarding Jacob, for he knew that she loved Jacob much more than Esau. And he said to her, My daughter, watch over my son Jacob, for he shall be in my place on the earth. You see what I mean by superintendent? And for a barakah in the midst of the children of men, and for the esteem of the whole seed of Shem. For I know that Yah shall choose him to be a people for possession unto himself, above all peoples that are on the face of the earth. And see, Isaac my son loves Esau more than Jacob, but I see that you truly love Jacob. Add still further to your kindness to him, and let your eyes be upon him in love, for he shall be a blessing or barakah to us on the earth, from this time to all generations of the earth. So we see that, in the beginning, when you see that Rebekah tells Jacob to do what he did, you're just like, oh man, Rebekah, why would you do something like that? Why would you be divisive over your children like that? Why would you tell Jacob to go trick his dad and do all of that? And you're the reason why Jacob and Esau don't get. No. Abraham spoke with Rebekah and told her that he was the son of the promise, just like Isaac was the son of the promise, that Yah was going to choose him. And Rebekah, seeing that Isaac loved Esau more than Jacob, and it doesn't mean that he loved Jacob less. Remember, we're using English as a language. It's the worst language in the world. It doesn't properly translate Hebrew emotions and Hebrew context. So we gotta make do with what we gotta do. But Isaac's affections were stronger for Esau. And we see that Esau at some point gets kind of hungry later on. He gets real hungry. And he's like, I'm about to die. Give me some soup. Give me something to eat. And he goes to his brother, and his brother says, give me your birthright. And he says, I don't even care about it. I don't even care about it. He's like, well, promise me you'll give it to me. And he promises, and then he eats the soup, and they go on their way. Now, Isaac is about to die. And he says to his son Esau, my son, my days have approached. The end of my days are near. I don't know when I'm going to die. So go hunt something for me, like you always do, something that I love to eat, and cook it for me, and bring it to me, so that I may eat it and then bless you. And Rebekah hears this, and she quickly says to her son, Jacob, go outside and get me 2 of the best of the livestock, of the lambs there, and bring it to me, that I may cook it for you the way for your father the way he likes, and I may give it to him. And then put on this coat, so that he may think that you are Esau, and that he may bless you. Now, this part, a lot of people don't fully understand Rebekah. But as we read in Jubilees chapter 19, verse 14 through 20, Abraham told her that Jacob was the son of the promise. And although Yah did not tell Rebekah she had to do that, because it was going to be how it was going to be anyway. Because we have to know how the firstborn, or the right of the firstborn, works. Ishmael was the firstborn of Abraham. Yah still chose Isaac. He was the son of the promise. He was the one that was chosen. And Isaac didn't have to do any trickery. And Sarah did the same thing. She was too eager to wait on Yah. And she said, here, take this. Take my handmaid and make her your wife, and bring forth a seed by her, that I may be a mother to him, and you have an heir. And this is a sign for us to not always have to intervene, because Yah doesn't need our help. Whatever he says he's going to do, he's going to do. But still, we give praise to the Most High, because he allowed it to happen this way, and we will see evidence of this. Even though he did not say, he allowed it to be. Let's go to Jubilees chapter 26. The entire chapter. And in the 7th year of this week, Isaac called Esau, his older son, and said to him, I'm old, my son, and see, my eyes are dim in seeing, and I do not know the day of my death. And now take your hunting weapons and your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt and catch for me, my son, and make me a tasty dish, such as my being loves, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my being may barak you before I die. But Rebekah heard Isaac speaking to Esau, and Esau went out early to the field to hunt and catch, and bring him home to his father. And Rebekah called Jacob her son and said to him, see, I heard Isaac your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, hunt for me, and make me a tasty dish, and bring to me that I may eat and barak you before Yahuwah before I die. And now, my son, obey my voice in that which I command you. Go to your flock and fetch me 2 choice goats, and I shall make them a tasty dish for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring to your father, that he may eat and barak you before Yahuwah before he dies, and that you may be Baruch. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Mother, I shall not withhold any matter which my father would eat, and which would please him. Only I am afraid, Mom, that he will recognize my voice and want to touch me. And you know that I am smooth, and Esau my brother is hairy, and I shall appear before his eyes as an evildoer. Look at Jacob's response. and I shall do a deed which he has not commanded me. And he shall be wroth with me, and I shall bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. And Rebekah his mother said to him, Your curse be upon me, my son. Only obey my voice. And Jacob obeyed the voice of Rebekah his mother, and went and fetched 2 choice and fat young goats, and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared them such as he loved. And Rebekah took the best garments of Esau her elder son, which was with her in the house, and she clothed Jacob, her younger son, and put the skins of the young goats upon his hands, and on the exposed parts of his neck. And she gave the meat and bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. And Jacob went into his father and said, I am your son. I have done accordingly as you've asked me. Arise and sit and eat of that which I have caught, father, that your being may barak me. And Isaac said to his son, How have you found so quickly, my son? And Jacob said, Because your Alua caused me to find. And I want you to know that this very part, Jacob is swearing by Yah's name. But notice how Yah does not destroy Jacob, because Yah did cause him to find. So we have to be very wary when we say that Jacob was a supplanter. Because had Yah not wanted Jacob to be blessed, he never would be. And Isaac said to him, Come near that I may feel you, my son, if you are my son Esau or not. And Jacob went near to Isaac his father's, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because it was caused from the Shamayim to remove his power of perception. Now I want us to use our common sense brains here. Do you really think that Isaac, who has known the voice of his children all their lives, and mind you, Jacob is no little boy here. He's most likely in his 60s, a grown man at this point. A grown man at this point. What many of us would call a grandpa today. And you think that Isaac could not identify the voice of his son? You have to know that any moment Isaac could have said, No, you're Jacob. Because he says it. But what caused him to not be able to see that? The scriptures answers it for us. That Yah, look at what it says. That Yah closed his perception. Because it was caused from the heavens to remove his power to perceive. And Jacob did not recognize. So not only did Yah provide the food, but Yah also provided the way for Jacob to receive the barakah and his father to not perceive. Because had it not been that way, Isaac would have known right off the bat, Jacob, man, if you don't get out of my face, stop playing. I know you're Jacob. Stop pretending to be Esau. But Yah closed his perception. And he could not recognize Jacob. And he said, Are you my son Esau? And he said, I am your son. And he said, Bring near to me that I may eat of that which you have caught, my son, that my being may barak you. And he brought near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And Isaac his father said to him, "Come near and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him. And he smelt the smell of his garment. And he baraked him and said, "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahuwah has baraked. And may Yahuwah give you of the dew of the shamayam and of the dew of the earth, and plenty of grain and oil. Let nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. And may all the barakah with which Yahuwah has baraked me and baraked Abraham, my father, be given to you." He's saying, may you be a superintendent of the covenant now, and your seed forever. Cursed be he that curses you, and Baruch be he that Baruch you. And it came to be, as soon as Isaac had made an end to Barak his son Jacob, and Jacob had gone out from Isaac his father Esau, Isaac his father, Esau his brother, came in from his hunting. And he also made a tasty dish and brought it to his father, and said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of the wild game, that which your being may barak me." And Isaac his father said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your firstborn, your son Esau. I have done as you have commanded me." And Isaac was greatly astonished and said, "Who is he that hunted and caught and brought to me? And I have eaten of all before you came, and have baraked him. He shall be Baruch and all his seed forever." And it came to be, when Esau heard the words of his father Isaac, that he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Barak me too, father, me too." And he said to him, "Your brother came with cunning and has taken away your barakah." And he said, "Now I know why his name is called Jacob. See, he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my barakah." And he said, "Have you not reserved the barakah for me, father?" And Isaac answered and said to Esau, "See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given him for servants. And with plenty of grain and wine and oil I have strengthened him. And what now shall I do for you, my son?" And Esau said to Isaac his father, "Have you but one barakah, O father? Barak me too, father." And Esau lifted up his voice and cried. And Isaac answered and said to him, "See, far from the dew of the earth shall be your dwelling, and far from the dew of the shamayam from above. And by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to be, when you become great and shake his yoke from off your neck, you shall sin a complete sin unto death, and your seed shall be rooted out from under the shamayam." And Esau wept, threatening Jacob because of the barakah with which his father baraked him. And he said in his heart, "May the days of mourning for my father now come, so that I may slay my brother Jacob." Now, if you don't understand this part and you don't ask God for insight, it's going to look like Jacob did him dirty. But you have to know Hebraic thought. Barakahs are not just blessings. Blessings is such a generic word. It's really a word that I strongly despise. Barakahs are prophecies with inheritance. You don't just prophesy you don't just give a blessing and then, like, I bless you to be real smart. Right? Let's just say I bless you to be real smart to succeed in school. So I'm blessing you. But you don't study, you don't do anything, so that blessing is voided. But that's not how it is in Hebraic thought. It's prophecy, it's action, it's proaction, it's proactiveness, and it's insight and foresight. It's a deep-rooted knowledge that comes from Yah, and it flows from the mouth, and it comes upon the being. And even if Jacob never did what his mom told him to do, and it never occurred to Rebecca to do that, the prophecy would have been the same because it was Yah's words that are being spoken. Is this that Isaac spoke not what's taking place now, today? It is the mouth of Yah that establishes all things, not the ideas of man. This is where we see the rivalry between the two brothers become evident. Esau swears that he will kill his brother for taking his birthright. But Esau's bad behavior started to be all the more evident. Esau purposefully sins against his father, blatantly disrespecting him, marrying people that he knew they were not supposed to become in covenant with. Genesis chapter 26, verse 34 through 35. Genesis chapter 26, verse 34 through 35. And Esau was 40 years old. He took as wives Yehudith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basmath, the daughter of Eliam the Hittite. And they were a bitterness of spirit to Isaac and Rebekah. And then Genesis chapter 28, verse 8. Esau saw that the Canaanite wives did not please his father, so he went to his family's, to his father's brother, and took Mahalath as a wife. And in Jubilees chapter 25, we see the whole of the matter. I'm taking my time to read this, and I hope that you focus on the attention of it, because we have to fully be able to understand this truth so that we can walk out our salvation with fear and trembling. Have something to look forward to with full understanding. Have patience and don't want to rush through things too much. Jubilees chapter 25. And in the second year of this week in the Jubilee, Rebekah called Jacob her son and spoke to him, saying, My son, do not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, as Esau your brother, who took 2 wives of the daughters of Canaan. And they have embittered my being with all their unclean deeds, for all their deeds are whoring and lust, and there is no righteousness with them, because of evil. And I love you exceedingly, my son, and my heart and my affection barak you every hour of the day and watch of the night. And now, my son, listen to my voice and do the desire of your mother. And do not take yourself a wife of the daughters of this land, but only of the house of my father and of my father's relatives. You shall take a wife of the house of my father, and the Most High El shall barak you. And your children shall be a righteous generation and a Kodesh seed. And then Jacob spoke to Rebekah his mother and said to her, See, mother, I am 9 weeks of years old. 66 years old. And I neither know nor have I touched any woman. What? He is 66 years old, and he has not slept, nor touched, nor engaged himself to any woman, nor even thought of taking myself a wife of the daughters of Canaan? Jacob's like, he's been keeping himself pure because he knows his father Abraham told him to stay away from the Canaanites. And he preferred to be a eunuch, even for a moment, instead of defiling himself with the Canaanite woman. For I remember, mother, the words of Abraham our father, for he commanded me to not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, but to take for myself a wife from the seed of my father's house and from my relatives. I have heard before that daughters have been born to Laban, your brother, and I have laid my heart on them to take a wife from among them. And for this reason I have guarded myself in spirit against sinning or being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life. For with regard to lust and whoring, Abraham my father gave me many commands. Do you hear? And despite all that he has commanded me these 22 years, my brother has strove with me and spoken frequently to me and said, brother, hey, bruh, take for yourself one of these fine things from the Canaanites. Just like me. Look how fine they are, bruh. But he says, I refuse to do these things. I refuse to do as he has done. Going down to verse 10, do not fear, mother. Be assured that I shall do your desire and walk in uprightness and not corrupt my ways forever. Hallelujah. I encourage you to continue reading the rest of this chapter. But can you see why Jacob was the chosen seed? Remember, he didn't trick his way into anything. It was prophesied from the time he was in his mother's womb. Abraham knew of it. And that's why he told Rebekah to protect him, love him all the more, because he's the chosen seed. And Rebekah tried to do it her own way. But it would have been done either way, because he was the chosen seed. Esau's behavior troubled Isaac and Rebekah. His marriages to the Canaanite woman symbolized his disregard and his spitting on the covenant heritage. He said, screw this covenant. I want me some Canaanite woman. I will disobey the commands of our father Abraham. But Jacob said he would not. And he did not. So Jacob was sent to find a wife from amongst Abraham's family. And at 63 years old, not 66, Jacob journeyed to Haran. Both Isaac and Jacob were commissioned to go back to Haran to retrieve their wives. And both Isaac and Rebekah told Jacob to go back to Haran to get a wife. Genesis chapter 27, verse 43. And then Genesis chapter 28, verse 2. Now, this is the part that makes my heart jump. Because now we're going to get to a part that is so overlooked. Because for Abraham, we know that it was when he was sent out of the land. For Isaac, we know that it was when Yah told Abraham to go up to Mount Moriah to sacrifice Isaac. And this is the part where Yah establishes his covenant with Jacob. Jacob departs Beersheba towards Haran. Genesis chapter 28, verse 10. On the way, Jacob falls asleep and sees the ladder reaching the heavens. Jacob falls asleep and he sees a ladder going up and down the Shamayah. Let us go to Genesis chapter 28 verse 11 through 17. And he came upon a place and stopped over for the night, for the sun was down. And he took one of the stones of that place and put it at his head. And he lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed and saw a ladder standing on the earth, and its top reached to the Shamayim, and saw messengers of Elua going up and coming down on it. And see, Yahuwah stood above it and said, I am Yahuwah, Elua of Abraham, your father, and the Elua of Isaac. The land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall break forth to the west and to the east, to the north and the south. And all the clans of the earth shall be Baruch in you and your seed. And see, I am with you and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land, for I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Truly Yahuwah is in this place, and I did not know it. Truly Yahuwah is in this place, and I did not know it. And then when we go to 1 John chapter 1, John chapter 1, verse 51. John chapter 1, verse 51. And he said to him, Truly, truly, I say to you, from now on you shall see the Shamayim open, and the messengers of Elua ascending and descending upon the son of Adam. I want us to go back now to Genesis chapter 28, verse 14, because it's important. It's so important. This is a prophecy. This is a prophecy. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall break forth to the west and to the east, to the north and the south, and all the clans of the earth shall be Baruch in you and your seed. This is a prophecy. Verse 14, that the descendants of Jacob would be scattered throughout all the four corners of the earth. The word here of break forth is actually paratz. And paratz means a breach, to spread, to be scattered, to be dispersed, to be pressed, and to increase. And then all the clans of the earth will be Baruch by this. Oh, Maya. So when you read this the right way, it says, and your seed will be as the dust of the earth, and you, Yasharal, will be scattered to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. And all the clans of the earth will be Baruch in your seed. And then it says in John chapter 1, verse 51, that the messengers of Yah are ascending and descending upon the sons of Adam, upon the son of Adam. The son of Adam is the one that brings the nations to us, that they may be blessed, that they may be Baruch. Like, just take it in a second. Just take it in. Here, in the place that Jacob lays his head, Yah is telling Jacob that your seed is going to be scattered. He tells him the end from the very beginning. When he says in Isaiah and Ezekiel and Jeremiah, I will gather you from all the four corners of the earth. He's telling Jacob the end from the beginning. He is telling him that there will be a breach in you, Jacob. That the people will be rebellious and they will be lawless. But because of the covenant I made with Abraham and with Isaac your father, and now with you, even though they are scattered throughout all the earth, it will not be for no reason. Because while they are scattered, their light will come. And they themselves will be a light to the nation. And they will be Baruch. And they will be Baruching the other nations. This is what Yah is saying to him here. There is a breach. There will be a spreading, a scattering, a dispersing, a pressing. While they are scattered, I will press them. They will go through the wine press. And while I am pressing them, they will increase. This is a prophecy. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall breach and spread and be scattered, dispersed, pressed, increase to the west and to the east. He's talking about the scattering to the north and the south. And all the nations of the earth shall be Baruch in you and your seed. And then this brings me to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1 through 4. When it says now, arise and shine, for your light has come. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the esteem of Yah rises upon you. For look, darkness covers the earth, and darkness clouds the peoples. But Yahuwah rises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the Gentiles shall come to your light. This is where it says, and all the nations of the earth, all the clans of the earth shall be blessed. Genesis chapter 28, verse 14. For look, darkness covers the earth, and darkness clouds the peoples. Yahuwah rises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the Gentiles shall come to your light, and sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around and see, all of them have gathered. They have come to you. He's talking about the place where Jacob is laying down, where Jacob's head is laying on a rock. He's talking about the place where Jacob's head is laying on the rock. This is what this part is saying. Lift up your eyes. He's talking about Jacob, who is laying down on a rock. He's talking about that place that Jacob is laying on, that place where he had an encounter with Jacob. Lift up your eyes all around and see, all of them have gathered. They have come to you. Your sons come from afar. From where? From the east and the west, the north and the south. And your daughters are supported on the side. This is the gospel. This is the gospel. Arise and shine, for the truth has come. And who is the truth? Who is the light and who is the way? HaMashiach. We rejected him. So because of this, we've been scattered throughout all the earth. But it was not for no reason. But in the land of our captivities, we would look for the covenant. We would remember ourselves in the land of our captivity. And we would be pressed. And we would be pressed like wine is pressed in the winepress. And through the pressing, we would be transformed and the fear of Yah would come upon us. And because the fear of Yah has come upon us, behold, the light has come. And because the light has come, the rest of the nations who are in darkness will see that light and come to us. And we will finally be the righteous stewards, inheritors, superintendents of righteousness, just like Abraham. Chosen in a wicked generation. Chosen just like Abraham to stand against Nimrod. To stand against the fallen. To stand against every wicked thing, idolatry. In the land of our captivity. And the people would look upon us and see that we are walking in the light, and they will be in darkness. And because they see what they saw in Abraham, what they saw in Isaac, what they saw in Jacob, they will see in us. And the esteem of Yah, which is the very fear, the reverence of Yah, rises upon us. And it causes us to glow like Moses glowed. To be as children of light. Because behold, the light has come. HaMashiach has come. And wherever we have been scattered to, we stand as light. And we can be a blessing, a barakah to all the clans of the earth. Because we teach them the fear of Yah. And we stand as sons of Yah. The nation of Yasharal stands as the first son of Yasharal, of Yah. And as a light to the world. And as priests on this earth. And we teach the righteousness of Yah. And people turn from their sin. Because Yasharal walks with Yah. This is the gospel. Arise and shine. For Yahusha has come. Your salvation has come. And the fear and the reverence of Yah breaks forth from you. Obedience. Covenant keeping. Yah fearing. Neighbor loving. Righteousness is what shines out of you. And this draws all the clans of the earth to you. And this is where it says that the Gentiles will say, let me go with you. This is the barakah. This is the barakah. And this is where we finally have been established as the priest of the nation. And we can say that we have walked as our father Abraham walked. Hallelujah. All esteem to the Most High Yah. All praises to Him. You see, the gospel is not just, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Let's get baptized and then still do the same nasty things we've been doing our whole life. The gospel is not, we're Yasharal, the chosen people of the Most High Yah. Kiss my feet, we're the ones Yah chose. We're the best at everything. That's not the gospel. The gospel was to reflect Yah's light and show them the salvation of Yah so that they can cleave to us. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High. Arise and shine. Arise and shine, for your light has come. Walk uprightly with Yah. I think I was too excited at this part, but I'm always in awe of Yah. I always am. It's not just words on a page to me. And I can't read just to read, and I have to know. And when you know, you're free. I praise Yah. I praise. I encourage you to walk with Yah. And now when you say the Alua of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you can fully understand why. Walk as they walk, talk as they talk, and live as they live. And be the righteousness of Yah on this earth. Walk in the light, is HaMashiach, and be children of light, so that you too may arise and shine, because the light has come. And now you are established as a priest over all the nations, the firstborn son of Yah on the earth. He says, Yasharal is my firstborn. He has many sons, but Yasharal is his firstborn. All praises to the Most High Yah. Abba Yah, we give you thanks for everything you've done for us. Thank you for this privilege to be able to talk about this good news. We can fully understand it, that we can live in it, walk in it, talk about it, and have expectancy for good. May your name be greatly esteemed. May your name be greatly magnified. Thank you, Father, that you've given us examples of the Kodesh things and faithful servants, that we too can be that. I don't want to boast about being a blood descendant of Abraham. For Abraham has many. But I want to boast about being a seed of the covenant, of the ones that walk in your way. It profits me nothing to be a Yasharal. It profits me nothing if I don't walk in your light, if I don't walk in righteousness, if I don't love what you love and hate what you hate. But I will boast, Abba Yah, in you, that even in our unfaithfulness, you remain faithful. And you give the ability for us to walk uprightly. If so, we desire that we too, like Abraham, can walk righteously, like Isaac, be willing to lay down our lives like Jacob, to be willing to not compromise even our fleshly desires and transgress your law, Abba Yah. I will not boast in being a seed of Abraham, because many are his seeds by blood, but few can say that they walk in the righteousness of Abraham. Abba, may I be counted amongst the number. May we be counted amongst the number. May we be as the rare ones that walk, Abaya, in the spirit of righteousness in these last days. You're looking for precious jewels in these last days, Abaya. You're not looking for iron, you're not looking for clay, but you're looking for the rare jewels, for the rare ones. And though they be few, they are valuable. And their value is beyond the quantity. So Abba, cause us to love you and to walk in your ways. You, the Alua of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I choose to be a steward, a superintendent of your covenant on this earth. May your name be esteemed in us. May your name be magnified. Surely your goodness and mercy will follow us all the days of our lives, and we will dwell in the house of the Most High Yah for always and forevermore. In the name and the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it, and be it so. This is just a reminder that we have the Feeding the 5,000 on June 21st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Brooks Lake, 2697 Bethel Road, Northeast, Conyers, Georgia, 30012. We will be preaching the entire good news, not just the New Testament, not just the Old Testament. We're talking about repentance unto Yah, the purpose of Yasharal, and Hamashiach being a light to not just Yasharal, but to the Gentiles. Immersion of water and of Ruach, and the soon coming and even here judgment. If you would like to support, please feel free to do so at $well4yah7. If you'd like to send an email, you're able to do so, or a Zelle or PayPal. You can at the messenger 526 at gmail.com. And if you need prayer requests or just someone to stand with you to help you walk with Yah, to revere Yah, if you don't understand certain things, we can approach Yah together that He may give us insight and reveal what He desires to us. I encourage you to work out your salvation with fear and trembling right now. Do not waste any time. Run towards Yah. You don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the ceiling. And I don't mean the ceiling of your house or rooftop. I'm talking about sealed, being sealed unto righteousness, or being sealed unto judgment, or being sealed unto pruning. So walk with Yah, love Yah, revere Yah, and trust in Him. Because its hour is short. And so this is the reason why the full gospel is being shared now. So all praises to the Most High Yah. Shalom.